If you're a restaurant owner or a chef, you know how frustrating this is when prices keep going up and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm losing money now in a dish, and can I really raise my prices? Sounds like a familiar scenario? Then watch this video. Hey, I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. I am an international business speaker, business author, Forbes Business Council contributor, restaurant success coach, and restaurant owner. So I'm in it just like you other restaurant owners. I deal with this stuff every day. And so let's talk about costing out your menu. And here's like my crystal ball. Here's my crystal ball formula for keeping my food costs in line, okay? First step is you have to have a system where you're tracking all of your purchases. If you're not tracking all of your purchases, then start ASAP. Get a program, and don't get a program that's like tied into your Prime vendor or something. Get a program that you can use through every vendor. I suggest buying a program. We use ChefTech. I've used ChefTech since 1999. There's other programs out there. I've tried other programs that are cheaper than ChefTech, and they just don't perform like ChefTech, and I've always gone back to ChefTech. So, but the data, the value is in the data here. And the more data you can put, we all know this. Your database is important. That's how you market. You market to your database. That increases your sales when you talk to people that have been into your restaurant. But anything else you can collect data on is highly beneficial for your business, especially the restaurant industry. So you want to collect the data of every time you buy a case of broccoli, every time you buy a sack of onions, every time you buy a case of eggs, every time you buy a case of butter, every time you buy filet mignon. You want to track those purchases in a program where you can pull up reports and watch the pricing structure, okay? The fluctuations of pricing, okay? Now, when you price your menu out, this is key. In ChefTech, this works like a charm. I don't get paid any money from ChefTech. I'm not an affiliate. I don't even think they do that. But in ChefTech, when you put in all your ingredients into a recipe, into mashed potatoes, into apple pie, into whatever it is, you have an option there in a box to price out the ingredients based upon the lowest price paid, the average price paid, the last price paid, or, get this, the highest price paid. All right? So, now I have 15 years of history in ChefTech. After a year of history, you're going to see ups and downs. You're going to see seasonal things in market. You're going to see romaine always spike a certain time of the year. You're going to see broccoli, when the frost comes in, spike a certain time of the year. You're going to see grilling season coming up, barbecue season coming up, where meats spike and then they come back down, okay? You're going to notice these trends of food. It's just like the stock market. Well, when you go to price your menu out, you price that filet mignon dish at the highest price you paid in May, because May is kick off the barbecue season, and in September, October, when the meat comes back down again, the price comes back down again, you're still charging for that high price. You're based upon that. Now, this is a very tough industry to make money in. Extremely tough industry to make money in. You have to make money on lots and lots of volume. You have to run a really tidy ship. And if you're pricing your menu out on the last price you paid for something, that can prove to be drastically wrong. Now, the last price might be the highest price if you're pricing out your filet mignon in May and you're going to run that price all year. But you're not going to price every single dish out if you're pricing every single dish out at the last price paid, it's not going to be the highest price. I guarantee it. So if you have 10 years of purchasing eggs, 5 years of purchasing eggs, 2 years of purchasing eggs, at some point eggs hit a high. At some point butter hit a high that you're not paying that high right now in most scenarios. So if you go back and base it on the highest price paid, you have a buffering system, a great buffering system. So, and then from there, when filet mignon spikes again in May, you're like, hey, I've got it covered already, right? I've got it covered. Now, the other best way to combat this, let's back up a second. You want to raise your prices. I'm not saying don't raise your prices. You definitely want to raise prices. And a lot of times you don't raise prices based upon the price you paid for the ingredients. You base it based upon the perceived value and the demand of the dish. Okay? You could be running an insanely great food cost on a dish. And if it's your best-selling dish, bump it up $1. Make even more money on it. Again, folks, this business is so hard to make money on. This is why restaurants go out of business, okay? It has the highest failure rate of any industry, restaurants, because a lot of people get into business, they don't understand it, and it's just such a fluctuating, hard business to do. You have to know a lot of things like marketing, analytics, people skills, management skills. There's a ton of different things that go into it, and waste skills. Like all of a sudden you have a lot of waste, and what are you going to do with it? So I find a lot of first timers get into this industry, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I paid $1 for this, so why don't I just charge $2? I'll double my money." Wrong. You have to 3 to 4 times your money, sometimes 5 times your money to really run a profitable business. But again, it's on the perceived value in the dish. So if you have an insane dish that's just crushing it with sales and crushing it with your food costs, like really coming in under food cost, I would say, I give advice to my clients, bump it up $1. Bump it up $1. Because that's if you're selling 1,000 of those a month, 1,500 of those a month, that's an extra $1,000 or $1,500 that you can put towards employees, you can put towards bills, you can put it towards your vacation because you deserve a vacation as a restaurant owner. And that's a whole nother thing. A lot of restaurant owners don't think they deserve or understand how to take a vacation, or they're worried that their staff's going to think, oh yeah, you know. And that's a whole nother topic that we can talk about. I have that in my academy, and I have videos on that. So, highest price paid, start getting a history down ASAP of everything you buy. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I do inventory, Marcus. And it's like, okay, explain to me how you run inventory. And they're like, well, I figure out, the costs I paid. And I'm like, okay, show me your system. And when they show me that it's an Excel sheet, I'm like, so every time an invoice comes in from Cisco or US Foods, or you go to Restaurant Depot, are you putting in each invoice? And they're like, well, no, I don't. I just, took a random price one time that I paid for it. I'm like, wrong. You do not do inventory like that. You pay the money to get the program to track every single purchase that you do in your restaurant. Every single purchase, and you separate it out, you categorize it. Chef Tech is awesome because it links right to QuickBooks. It's amazing. So, that's my deal on menu pricing and how to deal with fluctuations. And again, you're still going to have to raise your menu price based upon increases. It's just what happens. So I suggest in going back into Chef Tech, your program, and every quarter going in there, or even quicker than that, and making sure that those pricings are still in line, because you can still that. If you're into analytics and you're a numbers person, I would suggest jumping into that program and just checking out your pricing on your menu and just making sure that, hey, it's still in line, it's still in line, it's still in line. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it, and drop any comments, I'll be happy to answer. Hey, Marcus Guiliano here. So if you like the content that I'm providing in this video, you can get my book, 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make, for free. Follow the link below in the description of the video, and there's a link to get this book for free. I will ship it to you. You just pay the shipping. I've got the books already here. They're already paid for. 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make. 15 years plus of me documenting my mistakes and how I corrected them, and how I mastermind with some of these mistakes, and how I learn from others, and what I teach my coaching clients. And again, this book is totally free, so take advantage of it while supplies last.